There's a Soundgarden. Yep. Seattle Blues. Oh, man. A rough one. 4-6. With a schedule that's got the Cowboys twice, 49ers, the Dolphins, Jets if Rodgers actually magically comes back, which I still don't believe, but whatever. Keep telling everybody that, buddy.
Just because of the teams you mentioned there, I got a warmish take. I don't want to look ahead, but that Dolphins game has the potential to be like the Sam Howell national coming out game, I think.
Well, him and Tua have a
because they're going to throw
45-42.
Correct.
One of those. Tyreek's got 275 and 3 touchdowns. Yeah. Terry and Jahan each have 2 touchdowns, like one of those situations.
Yeah, because
that'd be fun. I'll take that.
Look at Bieniemy's history right now. It doesn't matter he's throwing the ball, right? And I think they're going to know going into that week.
They're going to have to.
You're going to have to not just throw it, super throw it. Take deep shots on your first drive. Because if you don't, they're going to boat race you, and you're going to be down 45-10 at half, the way this defense is playing. And I just have a feeling, especially because that's a weird matchup, too. I don't know what the rest of the schedule.
So it might be one of the most fun games we've ever seen.
Yeah. I totally am not. Yeah. I'm totally not expecting them to win, but I hope they're kind of we got to sling it if we're going to win this game, and I just hope we see a 45-35
Don't run the ball at all.
Yeah. Brian Robinson.
70 pass attempts.
Take a seat, Brian. You're not going to
50 for 70, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
463.
463.
Yeah.
50 attempts.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because that one, to me, screams you're going to have to throw the ball if you have any chance to win. And it's a home game, so you might as well just let her rip at that point.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
We'll have Anita on because she's funny. You don't want Jordan on this week, do you, about the Giants? We got to do Anita because she'll rip DeVito or whatever,
right.
or try to date him.
And
one of the
we
two.
have Belichick stuff swirling now, and I feel like that's when Anita's, her black magic
Where's
comes
he going?
through. Yeah.
So, all right, let's do Week 10 recap. Frankfurt, Germany. Colts, Patriots.
You can't do that, man. You just
Colts,
can't.
Patriots.
You got to stop that.
Let's see. Robert Kraft wore a huge coat. Bill Belichick lost his mind. I didn't check this stat. It came from some Boston account, so you'll take it for what it is. I believe it, but listen to this one. Patriots rushed for 167 yards yesterday and allowed 10 points.
Okay.
In the history of the NFL, if you have rushed for more than 150 yards in a game and allowed 10 or fewer points, you were 266-0. This is 266-1. It's amazing.
Jeez.
Bill Belichick has been broken. I didn't see it come. I mean, I didn't
see it coming
How
this.
many times did I say years ago? I went, Mac Jones, he ain't it.
Yeah,
they need to get away from him.
You said it year one.
Fast.
You said year one.
Year one, I said, he ain't it. I told all my Patriots fans, I go, this guy's going to ruin it for you. You all need to get rid of him fast. I'm telling you.
Didn't they sign Cam that year?
They signed Cam that year. Mm-hmm.
Right. And granted, it was rookie year, so I will say, everyone stay calm, but I just remember being I said after year one, I think we know with these things now. If you show these certain signs, the leash gets longer, but he wasn't showing anything.
No, it was all bad. The leash was long for him because they're it's Belichick.
Right.
You'll see, he'll be fine. They'll doctor it up. He'll be totally fine. He'll be Brady. You'll see.
Right.
I mean, maybe not as good, but he'll be, close. That's what they're telling themselves up there. And it's just gone the wrong way.
Yeah.
And the clip of Bill O'Brien just freaking out on him on the sideline is amazing. It also was weird being on the West Coast yesterday, waking up.
Oh, yeah, 6:30.
And it's the third quarter of an NFL game when I woke up. It was 8 a.m., and it's third quarter.
Yeah.
Frankfurt, Germany, Colts, Patriots.
You gotta stop that.
It's pretty good.
You just can't.
It is good, though.
You can't do that.
Why? I can't talk like a German? Why can't I talk like a German? If you talk like a German, it's bad?
You know what you're doing, and I'm not going to say it out loud. Don't maybe get Solly and do the real one.
Oh, if you want to hear something amazing, unearth Solly's Beer Garden reads. They are straight out of Central Casting of a bad B movie Nazi style. It's terrible.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, terrible.
It's straight out of Indiana Jones.
India. Hello, Mr. Jones.
That's right. Yeah. Pretty much.
So anyway.
Here's the thing now, though. It's funny. Had Bill done that last week, and there was all the noise of him getting fired, I would go, all right, you got a point now.
Against us?
Right. Now,
you get fired.
Now, though, I'm like, all right, maybe I do see it now that he's doing weird things and put it in Zappy in the last game or last play and fake spiking. Like, oh, it's
right. Bill Belichick
bad.
went galaxy brain.
Yeah.
That's what crazy people do. When he put in the backup quarterback who hadn't played the whole year and call a fake spike, that's nuts. And it's the best that it ended throwing into triple coverage. That's the best part of the whole thing.
Right.
So good for darts at 5-5 through 10. Good for darts.
I meant to send this to you.
This, by the way, again, because we saw this last week, it ain't their defense. The Patriots' defense it's not great, but it's totally fine. Like, it looks like a Patriots defense, and they held another team to 10 points and lost because their quarterback is horrible.
Correct. By the way, I want to toot my own horn again. Listen to me when it comes to some of the things that I do, really hang my hat on. Low scoring games over in Europe.
Yeah.
Every game. Low scoring, take the under, by the way.
It's a long flight to Frankfurt, Germany.
We were
Mr. Jones.
You gotta stop. On Friday, by the way, we did
You know what you're doing.
We did pre-record the show.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of Belichick that came out?
Yeah, that was weird. It felt like one of those, who put that out there?
That was old school. No, I'm not even gonna hide it. That seemed like old school Dan Snyder tactics.
Right. Who put that out there?
What we're referencing, by the way, if you haven't seen it, is Belichick.
He's shirtless. It's cold.
Belichick essentially gets because he and his longtime girlfriend, or I don't think they were engaged, but longtime girlfriend broke up. This must have happened a while ago because a video from a Ring camera emerged of Belichick, no shirt on.
No shirt.
And just outside.
He looks bombed. So he could be.
But one of the Patriots fans did say, not a good look, but look at the trees. That sucker's from the summer. That is not from something recent. And I was like, they're right. Because
this is like, when I saw it, I went, Jay Gruden old college party video. Remember that? When it was over, this is when they let Jay Gruden on the curb, looking like he just ate jumbo slice, hitting on the college hottie.
With the girl.
Slurring his words, half his age, sipping a beer through a straw.
Right.
Like that whole thing is happening.
Yes.
Right. This felt very hit jobby.
That's what I'm saying.
Like when I saw it, I'm like, they're waiting to drop this.
Right. But kudos to the Patriots fan that was like, look around. That's not from right now. That's from the summer.
But Jay Gruden's was from years ago. That wasn't recent when that one came. Like, people forgot about that part too.
Right.
That wasn't recent. People just unearthed this video from what was like 3 years ago that just made him look terrible.
Right.
And this one, it didn't make Belichick look terrible. It was just kind of like, wow, that's weird.
Yes. That's it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing anything wrong. He just was shirtless. That's all.
Shirtless and
outside.
Just outside cooling off. Doing, who knows
How does that behavior surprise anybody? He seems like a classic weird dude.
Correct.
Like, who thinks he's a normal? He's not.
He's in straight suburbs of Boston, too.
Yeah.
Like, that is not.
Right. That wasn't Germany.
Yes, right.
Right.
No historic sites out where he was out.
Anyway, so yeah, I felt I had the exact same reaction. I went, they just Jay Gruden'd him.
Correct. They hit
so they're
job
trying to hit job him.
I think so. Or somebody might have been like, hey, I've got this video of you. How much money do you want to pay? And he's probably like, I'm not paying you anything.
I don't know. This is the agents and coaches circling a job that hasn't been open in 25 years.
I guess. I mean, good luck with all that.
So what's going to happen with him? I do not believe they will fire him before the end of the season, personally. I just don't think the Crafts would do that. I think they will let it go through the end of the year. I think they'll let it play out. And then I don't think it is a done deal unless Bill wants to leave, that they would part ways. That said, they're going to trade him. They're not going to fire him. Like, what do you think? There won't be 5 teams that won't line up to take a shot on him? Of course there will.
You want to hear the rest of their schedule?
Yeah.
Bye this week. So if they were going to do it, they would have done it.
Germany,
they would have done it today.
Right.
Then they're at the Giants.
Right.
Winnable.
Right.
Winnable. Then they host the Patriots, or they host the Chargers.
They should lose, or the Chargers are weird.
That's right.
So, and it's an East Coast game for them.
Then they're at Steelers. That's a primetime game.
That's
a Thursday nighter.
Oh, Al. Oh, no.
It's gonna be
Is Al going to call out Belichick?
It's going to be 9-6, that game.
I don't know, Kirk.
That game's going to be 9-6, and the Patriots offense will outgain the Steelers offense, but they'll still somehow win because the Steelers are just winning. Then they host the Patriots, I keep saying the Patriots. Then they host the Chiefs.
Oh, that's a loss.
At Broncos, whatever.
Right.
At Bills, and then they host the Jets last game of the season.
They could win a few of them. So they'll end up with five or six wins is what they'll end up with.
3 in a row on primetime.
Ooh, that's rough. Al, we know that Al will say what he's thinking.
Right. At Steelers is a Thursday nighter. December 18th is, I don't know what the 18th is, but that's when we get Saturday, Sundays. So that's an 8:15 kick against the Chiefs. And then the next week, Christmas Eve, primetime Broncos.
We got to have a little word with the schedule makers, by the way. Who thought they were going to be good this year?
Yeah. Why are you giving them 3 in a row?
Like, who thought they were going to be good this year? 2, why do you keep putting the Broncos on primetime?
Yeah,
Sean Payton was the straw that stirs the drink this year. Like, why did you do that? The Bears kept getting the Giants have been on primetime multiple times.
That's weird. They have Thursday nighter against. Oh, this is really weird for them. December 7th is Thursday night against the Steelers. Then they have their actual bye, I guess.
No, they have a bye this week because they're in Germany. You get a bye after the Germany game.
Okay.
All the teams that played in Germany last week were off this week.
All right, well, they're playing December 7th, and they don't play again until the 18th, which is a Monday night. They get 11 days off.
11 days off. They're playing the following week. They just play the last game of the weekend. Thursday to Monday.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Thursday to Monday.
That's wonky.
Yeah. They have They got an extra turnaround.
They went from Thursday to Monday. Okay,
Thursday to Monday is what they're doing.
Okay, so it's Thursday night against Steelers, then a Monday nighter against the Chiefs, and then the 24th. That's a Sunday. That's the Sunday nighter against the Broncos.
Oh man,
we're gonna be forced to watch them 3 times.
A lot of zappy. Right, I want to talk to whoever's doing this. Are you guys not paying attention? Like, did you think they were going to be good this year?
Right.
Who thought they were going to be good this year?
I get the Monday nighter against the Chiefs because it's the Chiefs, so I'll give them that. But yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, that's a weird one. Yeah.
Story of the year is now C.J. Stroud. They won in Cincinnati.
That was an awesome game.
He is now, and this is not even an understatement, he's legitimately in the MVP conversation at this point.
Yep.
Like, he's clearly going to be the offensive rookie of the year. That's done. Now the question is he going to be the MVP? And if they somehow win that division, he will be.
He should be. Absolutely. He should be.
If they win the division, yes, he should be.
I just want to know what Mondays in ye old David Tepper's office look like these days.
Oh.
Not only
this is another one. I called Mac Jones. I called this one before the draft. I said, don't pick Bryce Young. Pick him. Yeah. If you're going to pick one of them, pick him. Bryce Young will probably go number 2 to somebody else, but you won't regret it because you can't get this wrong. If you're going to trade this much to get into that position, you have to get this right.
Not only are they going to be wrong,
They're
going to let the generational talent go to the next.
Way
pick.
Wrong.
Like if they both sucked, whatever. You were lose.
If they're both great, it's great.
Yeah,
if they both suck, well, they both suck.
Right.
What are you going to do?
But
when one's great and the other one is pedestrian,
and you traded to get there, you didn't just fall into it.
Yeah.
You traded assets to get there.
Yeah.
And your number 1 wide receiver, by the way.
So when Caleb Williams is on the Bears next year and this guy's on the Texans and they're playing each other in the Super Bowl,
that's right.
People are going to be like, oh my God, you could have had either one of them, you morons.
Yes, correct. Exactly.
And then Bryce Young, they're going to hate him forever.
Tepper's going to fire everybody again.
It sucks for Bryce Young because he's going to go from like favorite son to hated forever.
Right. Like
he's always going to be the guy that isn't that guy. That's going to suck for him.
Unfortunately, we need to already circle him for whatever his second stop is. I bet you he's going to play better.
In fact, he should probably be like, listen, guys, I already know it. The writing's on the wall.
That's right.
Everybody's going to hate me here. They're going to blame you. You can get stuff for me now. Let's just do that.
Yeah, right.
Let's do that.
If I'm his agent,
it's a good idea.
Kind of kicking the tires there.
So they go down and score late, beat Cincinnati on the road, and now have the same record as them. So they have a tiebreak over them if it came down to a wild card situation, which it might because Baltimore and Cleveland have the and Pittsburgh's got a better record than them right now.
Everybody has winning records. Yeah.
Holy cow. He's been scintillating. Coach of the year now. The Vikings are 6-4 with a crappy defense, sold parts off, lost Kirk Cousins, signed some dude who didn't know where his locker room was yesterday, and they've won 2 in a row against teams that could be in the playoffs.
That's right. I want to say I was on that one, by the way. I said they figured out how to get it done at home.
Josh Dobbs, I don't know what's up, but that's crazy.
He's unreal.
It is unreal. He had one play that was nuts yesterday.
After watching, it is. He might not have the best physical attributes, but his reads, he's so fast.
Yeah.
Watching the game yesterday, he can somehow read a field. He can't make the play every single time, but he's got the smarts, and that's what's going to keep him around for probably
that's why
10
he's
years.
played for 3 teams
yes, correct,
this
exactly.
year.
Yeah.
They're like, they need a fail-safe. They go to this because now we know.
Right.
And the Saints, I'll go back to, every time I look at Dennis Allen, I'm like, I actually think he's probably a pretty good coach, but he looks like a guy who's going to end up on the wrong end of it every single time.
They need to make a change there.
Derek Carr got cremated yesterday, too.
They have
that was a video game obliteration. That was a Fortnite kill. That was unbelievable what happened to him.
They have, I think, in terms of high end talent, the best skill position players, starters, probably.
Saints?
Yeah, some of them, and they can't put up 20 points a game. So they need to make a change there.
It's funny, like when we talked about like what's the future look like here, and people were like talking about GMs and stuff. I go, no one ever talks about this Mickey Loomis guy. Like they are stacked with talent. Fast talent constantly. Like, I don't know what their trick is. They got a quarterback problem right now, and they lose. So they lost to the Vikings, and they're 6-4.
Right.
They're 6-4 with that team and that quarterback situation. That's unbelievable.
Lions fans have to be losing it a little bit because they're like, this is the year we're supposed to be running away, guys. We're 7-2, and here's the Vikings just one game behind them.
Let's see. For the 9th time this year, the Steelers were outgained, and they're 6-3.
They don't make any sense.
Preposterous.
They make 0 sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
So dumb.
Yeah, some guy named Warren had 15 carries for 101 yards and a touchdown for them. Your boy J-Love, 2 picks. Not a surprise up there.
J-Love's finished, I think.
Well, they have to get somebody better.
Correct.
So we'll see.
Correct. Yeah.
Buccaneers beat the Titans 20-6. I'm not surprised by this.
Yeah.
You know, Levis a rookie.
Yeah, I was wrong on that
I think I called that one. I'm like, that's one of those.
I thought
it could have gone either way.
I thought Vrabel would cook up a low-scoring win. Yeah, it just didn't happen.
Titans are now 0-5 away. They don't have that good of a team anymore. So that's going to be a reboot. And I do wonder if Belichick does he want to go to New England? You know, that's a new GM down there. So there might be a mutual parting of the ways there, and maybe they bring him back. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. In the statement game, Niners killed
you and I
the
were
Jaguars.
On that.
Oh, yeah.
That one stunk. That was the smelliest game.
Off a bye.
Yeah.
They'd lost 3 in a row. They have one of the best rosters.
You
almost knew it.
Jags had beaten everyone with a winning record, too, so that wasn't going to hold. Like, they weren't going to keep beating every single winning record opponent. Yeah, that one.
There's the other one I don't like with the Jaguars. They're 2-3 at home. Mm-hmm. Good teams typically don't have under 500 records at home.
Yep.
So that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a big-time red flag. And, Lawrence's numbers aren't very good this year.
Yeah.
They're very average.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Like, the touchdown totals are really low. So, I don't know. Niners got right. I'm not surprised they got right. They're going to be there in the end, that team.
And one of my favorite clips of the weekend, there are 2 different plays where Trent Williams pulls out an open space and goes up against a different Jaguars DB each time. And in both cases, the Jaguars defensive backs ran away from him.
Oh, ran away from him?
And he was asked about it in postgame, saying, like,
was he laughing?
You were out in open space, and, you had 2 guys run away from you. And he was like, I'd run away from me, too. And in one of the cases, it was funny. The Jags DB guided Trent to almost knocking his guy out of bounds. It was actually pretty good, but look up that clip. It was amazing last night.
The Ravens, this is the second time they've had a very unusual loss at home. So, we were at the stadium early, and I caught the early part of that game, and they got the pick 6 like immediately. Yep. And then they ran a call and an executed run play for a touchdown that was one of the best I've seen all season with that Keaton Mitchell guy.
Yep.
And they were smoking those dudes. And I just assumed that game was over. And I think it was 24-9 or something like that in the third quarter. And all of a sudden, so I did a scoreboard of the game, and I go, oh, the Ravens are cooking the Browns or something like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. When I saw the final score, I couldn't believe it. So I don't know. This is the second time now. They've had a weird loss at home. They lost to the Colts in a weird way, and they had a weird one here, too.
This game led into Commanders, by the way, and it was literally like 60 seconds away from pulling out from the end of this game. Lamar had 2 interceptions, and both of them were egregious. They were terrible, where he chucked them up. And that he lost them the game, essentially, yesterday, because they needed to just not screw up in the second half. And Lamar screwed it up twice in the second half to give them the ball back, and that's how they won.
Listen,
that's how they won, the 2 extra possessions.
I'm telling you, like last week, getting ready for the Seahawks, the Browns played the Seahawks 2 weeks ago. And so I watched them. They had a preposterous turnover. Otherwise, they would have won that game. They'd be 7-2 right now.
Yeah, right.
Like, they're right there, too. Like, this is the one division I got right, for sure, right this year. I said all 4 of them can win that division. I'm not sure which one it's going to be, but I can make a case for any of them, and that's rung true here. I don't know how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
They could be literally any of them. We'll go through the rest of Week 10 next. Brad Weiss Show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital. Let's continue with Week 10. Kyler Murray came back. Cardinals win 25-23. All right. Falcons lose again.
The joke was...
I think your guy Art's in trouble.
Yeah, he has to be.
I don't know how he's not.
On Kyler, the jokes yesterday on Twitter were like, wow, the new Call of Duty came out and he won.
Yeah.
New times down there in
Guess
Arizona.
He missed football.
That's right.
He missed it. They did. Art did give Bijan the ball 22 times, so I'll give him credit for doing that. Cardinals they've been competitive the whole year, and now they got their quarterback back, so all of a sudden, they're going to be semi-competitive, and I wonder how they feel down there. How many wins are going to be too many wins before their fans are like, guys, we were 1-8.
So here's where I eventually land on this, because I said this before the season. Kyler has to play, or else you would have had to fire your boy Gannon year one.
You think?
If you decided not to play Kyler, because then all of a sudden your culture's broken again.
I guess you got to see what
the
situation
is. You
okay.
have to. And as I said too, if you still somehow suck with Kyler, you can draft another quarterback and trade him. If Kyler's good, great. You're moving on with Kyler.
Plus, Tisha Thompson's reporting on them lately, and it might be nice to have a couple wins.
That too.
To get away from Tisha Thompson's reporting.
As we know, winning solves everything.
Yes.
It's also much harder or easier said than done. So, yeah.
The Lions beat the Chargers in what is a typical Chargers game. Bonkers, but they lose. 41-38. The Lions are now 7-2. I'll ask it again. Are they the best team in the NFC? They might be.
Might be most consistent.
They might be.
Might not be able to call them the best, but they're most consistent.
Go watch Dan Campbell in the locker room. That was pretty good after the game. You will want to bite some kneecaps after that one. It's pretty good.
Did you see what play he ran, too, against the Chargers?
Mm-mm.
He took the game-winning play, or the dagger play that the Jaguars ran against them in the playoff game last year, and ran it against the Chargers, and it worked.
Oh, I like that.
That's
next level.
Dark, you know what?
The next level. Good for them. Next level. In the chalk of all chalk, the Cowboys killed the Giants with DeVito playing, and there was no chance. There was just no chance. And I'm hoping the Giants are the same this week when they come here to give the Commanders a win and keep the season afloat for a little bit.
Right.
So that was chalk of all chalk. That was a bye week for the Cowboys, basically. And then last night, of course, the Jets lost to the Raiders at home. I want to credit ESPN for the all-time, and this is the old people liked this, the lead-in with the Heidi game. Oh, chef's kiss. And they had the star of the Heidi movie do it. It's 55 years ago. These old people are still mad that they cut into a football game and showed Heidi before everyone cared about football to the degree we care about football, where no one would ever consider doing anything like that ever again. And that was a great little chef's kiss to that. Yeah. Quote of the day today comes from Adam Schefter. Jets head coach Robert Saleh told reporters today that he is sticking with Zach Wilson as his starting quarterback. Quote, he's actually playing pretty well.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Define pretty well.
Right. Exactly.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Don't know about that one.
Aaron Rodgers also said last night to Melissa Stark that he plans on coming back by the middle of December, which means we would play him Christmas Eve.
Believe it when I see it. By the way, that whole lead-in yesterday,
yeah.
I'm glad you knew what it was, because I had no idea what they were.
It was really for the old people.
That was I'm just saying, in terms of missing the mark,
yeah,
that was one where I was like, what am I watching? What is this? Who is that woman? I had no idea.
Right.
And I think you know me pretty well. I actually know pop culture really well.
That. When I was like, I went, that's a nice nod to me and the people older than me who remember this and know about this.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, I'm pretty well versed in all things pop culture for my age. Right over my head.
Yeah. It's no idea. It reminded me of the Abe Pollin quote when he went, we had a great year in 77. Yeah. And you're like, none of us were alive, man.
Right.
Yes. We know that happened. I kind of vaguely remember it. I don't know who was on the team, man.
Yeah. This one was where I was like, excuse me?
Yeah. They had to explain it. I hear you. For me, I was like, you know what? That's great. Like, good one. But it was for the old people.
Okay.
Big time for the old people.
I had a gripe because it was not big enough for me to, actually comment on it.
Review.
I mean, you're not going to talk about Monday Night Football tonight?
Do I have to? Who is it? Broncos, Bills? Is that who it is? God.
Broncos at the Bills, yes.
Why are the Broncos on national TV so much? Why are they in the national window so much this year?
They must have thought Peyton was going to be good. They must have thought Peyton was going to be good with us.
Why? Why did they think that?
Because they traded for a coach.
Weird. Let's see. All right, so let's do the two big stories first for college football review. Michigan has not denied they've done any of this. Them crying all their cryings is just a little much for me. Now, and I read the 13-page letter that was put out by Big Ten, and every single part of it was absolutely true. Like, we have a preponderance of, this is like the Trump fraud trial. That's not really a trial. They're just divvying out how much punishment he's going to receive. They've already rendered the verdict. It's the same thing here.
Yeah.
Michigan has no case to say they didn't do this. They're not claiming that it didn't happen. All they're basically saying is, we don't think you should punish us. That's all they're really saying here. And I don't think they have a case for that.
Right.
So, and then I saw Colin Cowherd's line today was Michigan's win was a win for America.
Oh, God. Stop it.
Why? Because you think they should cheat to the degree that they did?
Somebody must have gotten in his ear, because then Michigan said, we think we're America's team because we were wronged.
Right. Colin's going in this direction.
Yeah.
Where he's going to go, it's MAGA sports. It's we're heading MAGA sports.
Michigan
now.
M.
Yeah, MAGA sports. It's MAGA sports. Like, you have to take a contrarian view of things to get noticed for it.
Well, yeah.
That's all it is.
When you're talking about
whether you believe it or not doesn't matter.
When you're talking about dead quarterbacks that can't win a Super Bowl, yeah. That's
well,
what
he did
does.
one the other day. You saw the one on Friday?
Yes.
Where because the Bears won, they're now out of the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, but they don't own the number one pick because they traded it.
Right. Exactly.
Right. It's like, hello.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Anyway, so I am of the opinion that the Big Ten actually did the right thing. I think I might be in the minority of that, but I think they did the right thing. They had to do something. I've heard the people who say, well, they got a competitive advantage and their punishment is to give the other teams a competitive advantage. I'll hear that. Like that. I'll hear that argument out. But they had to do something. It's clear and evident that they were taking part in this. It's clear and evident it gave them an advantage. It's clear and evident that every team in their league, it's not beneficial to the Big Ten to oust these guys and not have them go to the playoff. It's bad, actually, for the conference to do it. But the fact that they went to the commissioner and said, these guys are cheating to a degree that must be stopped now, I actually feel like that the Big Ten actually did the right thing. And frankly, I mean, what else were they supposed to do here? They did nothing.
The only gripe I have was when they doled out the punishment, they even said we have no evidence that Harbaugh knew what was going on. Why would you admit that?
So
then have the hammer dropped on Harbaugh himself.
But they said because there's kind of nothing else we can do.
Right.
And it is, and they've used this before, culture of the program falls on the head coach. Like, Joe Paterno wasn't diddling boys.
Right.
But he was in charge of the program, and therefore they had to do something to the head coach. So I hear you. And I also think it's stupid to think he didn't know what was going on here. And this guy was on the sideline with them during games earlier this season. So do I think do I have a big, huge problem with this espionage part of this? Not really. The Big Ten does.
Right.
And they think the integrity of their games were messed up. And the buck has to stop somewhere and has to stop at him. So you don't have to know whether he, called for the code red or not. To be honest, he's still in charge of the thing. Who else would be punished?
Yeah, well, I mean, especially because
players get to play,
right? And because your boy got fired. Didn't he get fired or he resigned?
Who's that?
Last week. What's his name? The guy on the sideline. His name's already
Stallions.
Yes, yes.
Connor
exactly.
Stallions.
Yeah, because remember he either got fired or he resigned, and then right away it was Harbaugh knew nothing about it.
Because he got paid a lot of money to say that,
Correct.
I'm sure.
Correct. But also, they didn't find any evidence that Harbaugh knew about it.
It goes one way or the other. He's
Right.
like, guys, if you're going to fire me,
Right.
I'm now not an employee of the university anymore. That's the other part of this. Like, people seem to forget this. Everyone keeps calling him this overzealous, super fan did this. No, he was an employee
That's
of
right.
the school.
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
that he wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Sorry you got caught.
Yep.
Sorry you're upset about it. But you're screaming into the wind that we don't deserve this punishment. But you're not saying you didn't do it.
Right. Correct.
You're not denying
It's also like the punishment isn't even that bad.
The interview with that coach, too, after the game.
Oh, my God.
Worst. First off, stop cursing so much on national TV, man.
Yeah, right.
Like, I wanted to curse a million times yesterday on the air. I didn't, buddy. You can't hold it in? Like, come on. And then, like, I saw him and I went, if I'm an AD somewhere else, I ain't hiring him.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's who represents you in a critical moment? Dude, take a victory lap. Are you kidding?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like, yes, show your support for Jim Harbaugh, but you know what? You coached them to a win in a game that everybody knew the chips were stacked against them. Did they run the ball 35 straight times? Was that what it was? 32. Yeah, 32 straight runs. Good for them.
That's old school.
It is old school. Ohio State won 38-3. All the Ohio State people tell me they want Harbaugh back on the sideline because they don't want to beat them if he's not there. And I actually feel like, you know what? He could miss the Maryland game. That won't matter. But, like, I actually kind of do want him back for that, too, because I think the intrigue behind it would be amazing if they do.
What if Ohio State came out and said, we want him to be on the sideline?
Be great. And he's going to be like, and they started the investigation. Right. Go ask Just for Men over there how this all started.
Just for Men.
Let's see. Oh, that Lane Kiffin got whooped all up by Kirby Smart. You know what Georgia says about all this cheating from these northern teams that never win nothing? He says, come on down here and scout me. We're going to ram it down your throat no matter what. Whoa! Whoa!
You've done a German accent and then a Southern accent calling them northern teams.
Northern teams.
Just pointing out what you've done today. It's a little odd.
Let's see. Florida State beat Miami. End of the game was so sad. This quarterback put his body on the line, I think broke his arm, and then he was wailing, crying, and they wouldn't cut away from it. And it shouldn't be funny at all, but they just kept showing him crying. And I wish they would have stopped showing him crying. I felt so bad for this guy.
Somebody put together Miami's last 3 plays against FSU, and it's just been
bad.
It's been like not just bad, like, oh my God, how could that go wrong? That wrong. So yeah, it's been bad.
Let's see. Oh, Oregon's back in the playoff conversation if they can get Washington to lose. 36-27, they beat Caleb.
How about that? USC defense only gave up 36.
Amazing. As you know, Texas is back. They won at TCU 29-26. Mm-hmm. Bama's back.
Bama is rolling, yes.
Bama's going to get in the playoff again, watch. 49-21. They're not going to put 2 Big Ten teams in. And I think they're hoping Michigan loses because I don't think they want them in the playoffs to avoid all the controversy, which will open the door for Bama to get back in. 49-21, they won big. I guess they need Texas to lose, right? Because Texas beat them. They need Texas to lose.
Right.
Oregon State killed Stanford, so what? Missouri killed Tennessee. That's a surprise. 36-7. UCF beat Oklahoma State 45-3 after they beat Oklahoma. Boy, I guess they didn't care anymore.
Right.
Well, we won the other one. Remember that? Texas Tech won at KU. I don't care. Oklahoma beat West Virginia bad. Oh, the Brian Kellys with 52 on Florida's. Oh, yeah. Hey, now.
That's not even how he sounds.
Kelly. Arizona beat the Deons. The Deons 4-6 now.
Coming down to earth.
Yep. Iowa and Rutgers played what probably was the most boring game ever. 22-0. Tulane over Tulsa. Carolina and Duke played an all-timer for a football game. That's a rarity. It was like a Jeff Capel game.
Game of the week.
Dean Smith and Coach K would have loved this one. 47-45 North Carolina, double overtime.
Yep.
K-State beat Baylor badly, 59-25. And then the other, of course, big story of the day. I went to go see what I think is going to be the Heisman winner, Michael Penix against Utah, who he's impressive, man. He's an NFL quarterback. I don't know how good, but he's an NFL quarterback. And it's not just the throw. I mean, he's got some clutch throws in him. He had 3 or 4 of them late in that game. And that game went bonkers, by the way. But he's looking people off. That's what I loved about him. He's looking people off. He's in complete control of the game. He's looking people off. And I'll tell you, like, that was a heck of a double dip up there in old Seattle. They got a nice stadium. It's fun. Open air, for as open air as it is, very loud, like super, super loud. A lot of barking. They do a lot of barking. They do all the thing with their hats for kickoffs. Every kickoff, they wave their hats like the Nats do. Like the Nats fans do that. They do that one.
It's way inside baseball.
Well, when we live here, the Nats fans do that. This is what they do for every kickoff. They do that. They had this old man leading the band, and he was into it, man. I wanted a camera on him the whole time. I mean, he was just like into it. Penix was very good. That play, that was worth every penny I paid to go into that thing. And then it had the all-time, would have been the worst play ever. The guy who pulled the Deshaun Jackson and dropped the ball at the 2-yard line.
2 full yards. Yeah, it was crazy.
If they lose to Utah and they don't go to the playoff, this guy's going to have ruined an undefeated season.
That's right, exactly.
Because as of right now, they're a loss away from getting in. They need probably, Ohio State's playing Michigan. One of them's going down.
That's right.
So if they go undefeated, they're probably going to be in.
Yep.
Probably, because he's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. They'll put them in if they're undefeated if they get there.
Right, exactly.
He's good, Penix. Very good. And I really enjoyed going to check it out. The one thing I do hate is, yes, I bought a ticket to see your game. Stop emailing me. Stop emailing me. I don't even live there.
Survey of getting in. How was the game? Buy tickets for the next game. Yeah, of course. That's how the world works.
Do I want season tickets to the Washington tennis team? No, I don't. I don't live there.
You gotta
put on your location services.
Gotta opt out of those emails.
I don't live there. I don't live there.
Unsubscribe.
I don't care about your crew. I don't care. I'm out.
It's automatic though. It's not even.
It's annoying.
No one behind it. It's a computer.
Anyway, nice stadium, guys. Enjoyed it. Thanks for the hospitality.
Where is that stadium in relation to?
4 miles outside of downtown Seattle, and they've got this metro thing called the Link. It's very clean. Everything's very clean in Seattle. It's very nice.
Okay.
Goes right there. Stadium stop. Took me, went back to downtown, got on there for free. I think accidentally. Got on for free. Saved a couple bucks.
There you go.
Was back at my hotel downtown Seattle in 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
Went to Pike Place Market in the morning. Had a nice breakfast, looked out at the water. I don't mind the rain. Seems to give that place a bath every single day. It's nice. One thing I'm pissed off about is the whole town stinks of weed. Okay? Whole town. Just fine. It's fine. But they won't let me smoke my cigars up there. Oh, they're going to look at you like you're crazy if you smoke a cigar. But the whole town smells like weed.
What do you mean, like cigar outside? Like
anywhere.
Oh, weird.
No, can't do that. They look at, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, are you kidding right now? Are you kidding right now? So
that's a weird one.
Yeah. I might be from the East Coast, but I know what this is. I go down to Chinatown. I know what's up.
Chinatown. I smell it over here in Friendship Heights now, dude.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Oh, Friendship Heights by the Boundary Stones?
Yeah. Yeah. Spot on. Stones. Yeah, exactly. I walk to work at least 3 times a week now. Yeah. It's every day.
I made the mistake of watching some of the Wizards the other night. We'll talk about that next. Brand Watch the Show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital. All right, so the other night I landed in Seattle. I got to see the very end of Maryland versus Davidson, which was a surprise.
Oh, you haven't talked about them.
That was
lost
surprise.
2 in a row, by the way.
That was a surprise.
Luckily the Commanders were playing yesterday, but they lost yesterday too.
Yeah. I don't know what's up. They got all their guys back, or the majority of them.
Rudy Gersten, who we've had on the show before, who I like his Maryland opinion as both a fan and somebody who follows the program closely.
Maybe we should do that this week with him.
Said worst back-to-back losses for Maryland basketball in over 30 years. And I'll take his word for it at that one.
The Davidson one, they just shot terribly. And then they lose to UAB.
Yes.
Next, they're playing Villanova at. That's not good.
Correct.
Then they'll play a bunch of teams that I would assume they're going to beat at home. UMBC, South Alabama, Rider, but this is not a good start.
Not good.
Not good, guys.
At least in college basketball, a bad start they can overcome that, but not good with those two teams.
Not good.
Yeah.
No, not good. So I don't know. You know how excited I get. This is not an excitable thing for me. I get very excited. UAB.
You need to stop doing this with the Terps. You need to just start acting
I didn't actually really talk about them much leading into this.
Correct.
They kind of went under the radar on me.
Right, but, I know how you are.
I know. When Jameer came back, I was like, oh, we're going to be good. It was kind of telling, though, that they didn't come in ranked.
Right. That's true. I'll give you
Maybe
that.
that's why it went under the radar for me, because they weren't ranked. I thought when they got their guys back, I'm like, oh, they'll have a big year. Nope.
I'll give you that one.
Let's see. So then I watched them lose to Davidson, and then the Wizards were playing. So I flipped that on.
I want to say this, by the way. I stepped into the Wizards production, so I produced that game, by the way.
Oh, so you got to watch it too?
Oh yeah. Most Wizards I've watched all season long.
Wait. Let me hold on. Let me do college basketball real quick since we were on it.
Yeah.
Did you see Tony Bennett freak out on? I
did.
On who is it? Corey Alexander.
You said it to me, actually. Yeah.
So There was a play at the end of Virginia's game, or close to the end of the Virginia's game, where a ball went out of bounds on a Virginia player, and the referees got it wrong. And then they went to a replay to go look at it. And Corey Alexander, who went to Virginia, is basically yelling on the air, like, they're going to get this right. Here's the replay right here. Then the referees walk over to the table where the television broadcast is, and he shows them the replay of it, and they end up changing it. And then Tony Bennett flips out on him.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing?
Correct.
And you know what? I think he should have.
Really?
Uh-huh.
No.
Stay out of my business. Don't bring the refs over to show them that they're wrong. Let them find out on their own.
His defense was they were just trying to get the right call, and he's a Virginia alum. So he's like, I'm just trying to get the right call. Mm-hmm. You wanted them to call the wrong call? Like that was what he started to say. So
Tony Bennett flipping out on him was amazing, though. It was amazing. I haven't seen that one in a long time. He just started pointing at them and flipping out at them. He was like, why are you explaining to them why they got the wrong call?
Right,
Stop it.
Right, exactly.
That happened. All right, so the Wizards. You ended up producing the Wizards game.
Yes, yeah.
I landed, saw Maryland lose to Davidson, then flipped over to the Wizards, where at this point in the fourth quarter, they're leading by 8 or 9, something like that.
They were up by 11 in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
I want to say this, too. I think game flow does matter here. Every time the Wizards went up by like 10, 15 points, Hornets surged back and got it down to like 2 to 3 points. At one point, they took the lead for the first time. Then the Wizards built their lead back up. It was a back-and-forth matchup. But you kind of knew what was going to happen because the Wizards, shocker, don't lock down defensively ever.
So let's see. I have no order in these things happening, but they all did happen.
Okay.
They shot at least 3 air balls in a 2-minute span.
Yes.
There was one shot attempt that was a one-footed hop step, almost one-handed three-point attempter right around the three-point line. And I don't remember who did it, but I remember going, no, you should get benched for that.
Right.
You should get pulled out of the game immediately. That's a really bad shot selection. It wasn't like it was the end of the shot clock. You had to chuck it up or something like that. It wasn't anything like that. They ran nothing that resembled a play. And then on defense, some guy I've never heard of had like 28 offensive rebounds and 5 monster dunks. And it was, honestly, it looked unprofessional.
I would agree with you on that.
It just was totally, utterly unprofessional.
There's no cohesion from what I can gather from this team. Like, they all do certain things fine individually, but they never can put it together. Like, I don't know if you saw the Gafford play. Gafford had like 3 straight blocks.
I saw that, yes.
That was badass.
That was the one good moment.
Let's do more of that, please. But it doesn't happen.
It was really embarrassing. Like, I know that they're going to be bad. I get it. Like, I know they're going to be bad. They have an extremely flawed roster. Flawed roster. Fine. Like, we're all on board with things are changing here. But this was utterly embarrassing.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And that team that they played is terrible.
Right. They just beat them.
And this isn't just them. That court's awful. I think all of them are awful. It's not just them. Like the one when they played the Heat a week ago, I was like, that is blinding. I can't even look at that.
There is one that looks good, and it's Boston's. I don't know if you've seen Boston's.
Yeah, it's all right.
Boston's, though, looks really good in that midseason tournament style. I will say that.
Better than most.
Yeah, no, they're all like fairly bad because it is not
fairly bad.
It's not the best look.
All right, so what about the Caps? Good weekend for them. They went up and beat the Devils and beat the Islanders.
I told you, 2 out of 4 points. Ovechkin gets on the score sheet. They got 4 of 4 points. Ovechkin scored 2 goals. One of them was an empty netter, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and take that. But no, great weekend for the Capitals. Have you seen the standings lately?
No,
Capitals, 1-6 of 8. They're third in the Metro all of a sudden. They've surged back into being a contender for the division. That's all you could ask for. And I'll say this to you. They're third in the division, and everyone else is faltering. They're playing really well. They're getting wins, not playing at their best yet, is what I'm getting at here. They actually, there's a lot left to be desired from their actual play, but they're starting to beat teams, even though they're not looking amazing. And
I came in going, I was surprised at how it started, because it was so slow.
Right.
And I'm like, but I felt way more better about them this year than I did a year ago. I'm like, I think that's a playoff team. Like, I'm not going to get out of my skin here, but like, I like the mix a little bit better. They at least put some younger legs out there, and I think the old guys, they'll have their moments. Right. And that's why I think they'll actually be fine and they'll get into the playoffs. Bottom half of the Eastern Conference playoffs somehow.
Yeah, they look.
So I'm like not surprised that they have a good run of games at times.
They definitely look much better. They look more comfortable. I say this too. The bottom six is really starting to come into form. The fourth line with Nick Dowd and Beck Mallenstein, who was on the Bears. Mallenstein, they're just letting loose in the third period because he plays well defensively. He's like a pest. He's going to be your new favorite player. With Garnet Hathaway not in the lineup anymore, with them trading him.
Those. Yeah.
Beck Mallenstein's going to be your new guy.
Yeah, I like the annoying guy. I'm into that.
He's like the Energizer Bunny in the third period. They just send him loose on whoever's got the puck, and he is a pest. So you'll like him, but they are really coming into their own. And like I said, there's a lot left to be desired how they're playing. So I'm just going to say this. Caps had a little rocky start to the season. I think they've settled the ship here, and I think it could actually only get better from here on out. So we'll see what happens.
There's somebody with a massive amount of facial hair and crazy hair. Who's that guy? What is this guy? Oh, here he is.
Oh,
this guy.
Hunter Shepard.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
He's a goalie. He's the one that won the Calder Cup with Hershey last year.
He looks like a cartoon character, this guy.
He's a goalie. He's strange.
You think? He's got the thickest mustache I've ever seen in my life on a man. Crazy looking.
Dude, he would have had a 4-0 shutout against the Devils on Saturday, or against the Islanders on Saturday, but he pulled a Holtby and went out of the net and tried to play the puck, and it was an uh-oh. It was an uh-oh, and it went right back to the Islanders, and they scored.
Oh.
That was the only goal on that. So he actually played fairly well. We'll see what happens there. There is one thing worth paying attention to, by the way. Darcy Kemper was not on the roster over the weekend. They're calling him nicked up, but they didn't put him on IR. I'm just saying, worth paying attention to that one because Kemper hasn't had a good start to the season. So, see what happens with him.
Okay. Let's see. I assume the Bills will beat the Broncos. That's my analysis for you. I assume this. If Josh Allen throws 38 interceptions, maybe they lose. And he's capable of it. But I'm going to pick Buffalo to defeat Denver this evening. Book it.
Before we leave, R.W. Roberts tweets in, he was adding both of us. Not only do you have to be old for the Heidi game, you have to remember the AFL. That was an AFL game, not an NFL
That's
game.
right. And this was also, this was at a time where people did want to watch other things on TV besides football.
Right.
They found out the hard way.
That's absurd.
Right. They found out the hard way that people did not want to watch that more than the football, which is a landmark moment in sports.
It's true.
Where the executives went, wow, these people are really mad about this.
More.
Yeah, more.
More football.
More. It's like drugs. I want more. I want more of it.